Let's go back to our old days when we used to hear about houses that were haunted by Jinn. Most of it was when we were kids, when someone would tell you, "That house you have, someone was murdered there," or "That house was abandoned for a long time." But imagine with me, you buy a house to live in peace and quiet, a house far away from all the headaches and crowds of the city and all that. Then you're surprised to find that the house isn't empty. The ones who lived there before weren't humans. This is exactly what happened when I bought a house and its residents decided to mess with me. Before we begin, I want you to focus well. My name is Hamza, and my job is drawing. As you know, drawing needs two things, either
It's
a
getting
beautiful scene
closer!
that gives you inspiration and creativity, or silence and tranquility. I was married and had a daughter, but my wife and I couldn't live together anymore. She loved talking a lot,
wake up.
loved movement a
there?
lot, loved doing many things.
No, get
I'm
away!
the complete opposite. I like to stay home, relax, and look for peace and quiet. That's why there were always problems between us. Then, one day, we decided that's it. Each one should live alone. We got divorced. I left her the house and everything I had, even though I didn't have money at that moment. At that time, I was only looking for peace of mind. The first thing I thought of was to find a house far from the city, far from the headache, far from the traffic. Then, a friend of mine advised me. He said, "No problem, find a house in the countryside." Honestly, the idea appealed to me. I started searching on the internet for a house in the countryside. I found a house at a good price. I called the owner, went to see the house, liked it, and agreed on the price. Honestly, the price was amazing because I knew that price. I knew there wasn't a house sold at that price. So I took the house and settled in. The first day passed fine before we started noticing
Sophia
things that
was
didn't
my
make sense.
sister.
At first, when I wanted to sleep,
And now
I'd turn off the light
you
and go
will
to my
join
spot.
her.
After a little while, I'd hear something like something walking in the house. I'd turn on the light to see what was happening, and I wouldn't find anything. I'd say, "Oh, maybe I'm sleepy. Maybe I just
Behold the
imagined
dark
it or
magic
something."
trick.
I'd go back, and as soon as my eyes got
The
heavy
illusion
again,
is
I'd start
complete.
hearing a voice telling me. I'd wake up startled,
You
not
must
knowing if I
initially
dreamed
lead.
it or if I actually heard someone say it to me.
If you stand
In the end,
guard,
I'd convince
Lord,
myself that that's it, I was just dreaming. But God brought it again, the same thing. Sleep would start to take me until I heard a voice telling me, "Wake up, you're in the madhouse." I'd wake up and be like, "What? Did I really hear that?" I'd hear this 2 or 3 times. The important thing, I'd stay
are
like
you?
that, struggling with myself
Reda,
until I got
a
tired
friend.
and slept.
What do you
Honestly,
want
I started
to
seeing
talk?
things that weren't there in the house, but I wasn't sure if what I saw was real or just God's doing. Most of these things I'd see only after dark. Like
Hamza,
sometimes when
let
I was
me tell you
asleep,
about the
I'd
old
feel someone
sorcerer.
pulling my
I'm
blanket.
listening, Reda.
I'd pull it back,
He was a master
then
of
feel
dark
it again
arts, and
being
he is
pulled
watching
under the
us.
mosquito net. When I'd get up and look for my blanket, I'd find it by the door. How did it get from under the net to by the door? Sometimes I'd be scrolling on the internet and a picture would pop up that would scare me. Honestly, it would startle me. When I'd go back to look for it, I wouldn't find it. Impossible. I just scrolled. It just appeared. And this picture appeared many times to the point I memorized it. This picture
The
was like a
shadows
man
have
wearing the
chosen
clothes
you.
of a sorcerer.
I
But
am
this man
ready
was
to
just a
learn.
skeleton. I'm
Embrace
not
the
lying to you.
darkness within.
This went on with me for a week. The fear and terror I experienced that week I had never experienced in my life. But I didn't have another option because I only had this house. I had nowhere else to go. So I kept trying to give a logical explanation for what was happening. I kept trying to convince myself because I couldn't go out and live on the street. But what's about to happen next will change everything.
Look
I
into
had a
my
journal
eyes.
placed in
Reveal
front of
your
the house.
secrets.
I took
I
out
stole
all my
from the
materials,
company. I
put
have
them
to
there,
confess.
set up my
No,
easel,
please
prepared
stop.
everything, and started drawing. I drew a natural scene with a waterfall, trees, birds flying, the colors. Oh man. I finished my drawing and went to the bathroom. As I was entering the house, I felt like there were people whispering in my ear. I couldn't understand what they were saying, like they were just whispering softly. You know, like when you can't tell if it's just the wind or people saying something incomprehensible or what that is.
This?
And this exact thing happened to me only when I entered the bathroom.
Beautiful and
That's why I started going into the bathroom and not spending more than a minute. I'd come out quickly, concerned. I went back to the garden to bring my drawing inside.
Focus,
and here,
Safia.
I
The
was
ancient text
surprised by
revealed
what
the
I
Jinn's.
saw.
But the warnings,
Everything
they're
I drew
terrifying.
had
Power
changed.
demands risk.
The waterfalls
Now,
I
summon
drew, their color had turned red like blood. The birds I drew were slaughtered, bleeding from their necks, and the trees were on fire. What was strange about
Spirits
that
of the
drawing
veil, I
was that
call
the fire
upon you.
burning the trees
Illuminate
was
the
real
darkness,
fire,
bind them
actually
to me.
burning on
The
the
pact
canvas.
is
So I
sealed.
stood there staring at that scene like that until, honestly, the fire burned the whole canvas, leaving only ashes. At that moment, I couldn't give
Safia,
any explanation
accept this
for what I
ring and
saw.
be my
So
bride.
what did I do?
I cannot.
I went inside
This
the
feels
house,
wrong.
closed that thing, sat on a chair, and felt my head starting to spin. I felt tired. After a little while, my eyes closed. At that time, there was probably only a little time left until the Maghrib called to prayer. I had spent almost the whole day drawing, and in the end, nothing. Everything went to zero. Anyway, I don't know how long I slept. Honestly, I slept for a long time, until the sound of someone screaming woke me up. You know, I got startled, jumped from my spot. As I was waking up startled, an old man appeared, breathing next to me. He was wearing a vest. You couldn't see through him. And this old man was performing a magic show. Naturally, with what I told you about
Safia,
and what I
I
had
have
been hearing,
returned.
I thought one thing.
No.
This is
What
the
is
sorcerer.
that?
Your
His act was that he
child
brought a
son.
19-year-old girl, put her in a box, brought an electric saw, and cut the girl in two. Blood was flying everywhere. After that, he would put the cut box back together, open it, and the girl would get up as if nothing had ever happened. At that moment, I thought, this is just an illusion, something done with sleight of hand, something like that. But when the girl came out of the box, her clothes were cut, and she had traces of blood on her. You know? At
The
that
poison!
moment, I stood
This
up
was no
and asked him,
accident!
"Who are you?
You!
What are you
You'll
doing
pay
in my
for
house?
this
How did
treachery!"
you do this?" But he didn't answer me. I noticed he was a sorcerer. You couldn't see through him. When I stood up to him and tried to grab him, he disappeared as if nothing was there. At that moment, I stepped back, terrified. I kept saying, "Oh God, safety! What is this thing? Where did this guy who was standing here go?" I tell you, brothers, I searched the whole house and didn't find anyone. The house was empty. I went back to sit on the chair I was relaxing on before to process what had just happened. After a little while, I heard a clear voice. This voice, I heard it in my ear. "Who are you, and what brought you here?" I turned my face and didn't see anyone. As I was about to answer, I said, "Oh, this is my house. I bought it from its owner." That voice spoke again, talking to me, and said, "Oh, do you know this house is ours? How dare you enter it without permission? You're in the sorcerer's house. No one has ever dared to
I'm
enter
here
this
for
house
Safia.
for
Where
so
is
long.
she?
And you
were
came
a
without
fool to
thinking?"
come back.
Here,
You
I was
won't
100%
stop me.
sure that this house was haunted. No doubt, it's a haunted house, and most likely, this house belonged to a sorcerer. The problem isn't here. The fear and everything, I didn't have a place to live except this house, so I'm stuck with this house. I kept thinking, what could I do? What could possibly happen? Maybe over time I'll get used to it. Maybe I'll get used to hearing this stuff, get used to seeing things, and nothing will happen. So that's it. Like programmers, I think this way because, as I told you, I don't have another option besides this house. So either I go live on the street like a homeless person. And here, naturally, the action begins. The first thing I noticed in the house were the moving
The
shadows.
portrait resists
And whenever
my
I wanted
magic.
to sleep, I'd hear loud
Now,
music.
the real
Naturally,
work
I'd hear it in the
begins.
middle of the house, like there was a wedding in the house. And that music, I'd hear it coming from a specific room. When I'd go to complain and enter that room, there was nothing. And as I told you, at first, I ran from the headache and problems just to find that peace of mind I wanted, to find that quiet. But despite that, I stayed patient. I said, oh, I'll be patient until they get tired and leave me alone. That was my thinking at the time. The problem was that they would let me get used to
You will
something.
share
For example,
their fate.
I'd get used to
This
the
bed
music,
claims
or get used to
Safia
the
and her
shadows,
daughter.
or even start
Now
to
it
get used to
claims
them.
you.
Then they'd change and invent something new. For example, I'd go into my bedroom and find it completely messed up. So I'd tidy up, put everything back, start singing, do something tranquil. Then,
Safia
honestly,
was
that
my
After
sister.
that, I saw Khalid dying in the same place, in the same way. At that moment, I understood the talk Reda had said to me. And I knew
The house
that
is
Reda was not
mine.
human.
No! Stay back!
I almost
What is
saw
this
the whole
darkness?
truth now.
Stay away from me!
I imagined it. I don't know. But the truth is, there are many things in this house that even the sorcerer himself didn't understand. And every place in this house has had sorcery or an incantation done in it. That's why every day something happens in different places in the house. But as I told you before, I don't have any place to go except this house. And that's why I'm going to keep living in this house. And I don't know if even I will die the same way as the people who lived in this house died.
The end, my hair is standing on end. Honestly, as I'm telling this, I'm scared. And at night, I think sometimes I circle around, I do this. This story was good. And this story happened in Egypt. We hope you liked this story. We hope this story scared you a little. Share it with a friend who is afraid, or a girlfriend who's scared, or whoever. We hope you like this story. I love you all very much. Take care of yourselves. Bye.